Welcome, safety enthusiasts. Today we're diving deep into the crucial topic of working at height. Whether you're a construction professional or a DIY enthusiast, understanding the hazards and safety precautions is essential. Let's explore ladders, scaffolds and roof work to ensure you stay safe while reaching new heights. We've all been there, standing on a wobbly ladder, trying to reach that last shingle. Or maybe you're on a scaffold, a long way down, hoping it doesn't give way. Working at heights is a fact of life for a lot of folks, from construction pros to weekend warriors tackling a DIY project. But no matter who you are, one thing's for sure: safety comes first. The thing about heights is, they don't forgive mistakes. A simple misstep on a ladder can land you in the hospital. That's why it's important to treat every job that takes you off the ground with respect. That means taking the time to plan, to use the right gear, and to never ever cut corners. This ain't about being a scaredy cat, it's about being smart. It's about going home to your family every night in one piece. So let's break down some common sense ways to stay safe when you're working up high. From ladders to scaffolds to rooftops, we're going to cover the basics. Remember, your safety is your responsibility. Nobody else is going to look out for you the way you can. Ladders. They seem simple enough, right? But you'd be surprised how many folks get hurt every year because they didn't treat these tools with respect. Overreaching, using the wrong ladder for the job, or working on a shaky, uneven surface are just a few of the ways a ladder can turn against you. First things first, always inspect your ladder before you climb. Look for cracks, dents, or any other damage. Make sure the rungs are secure and the feet are in good shape. And never ever use a ladder that's been painted. Paint can hide structural problems. Next, set your ladder up on firm, level ground. That might mean using a board to even out an uneven surface. And when you're climbing, always maintain 3 points of contact. That means 2 hands and a foot or 2 feet and a hand on the ladder at all times. No exceptions. Finally, remember the belt buckle rule. Never reach so far that your buckle goes past the side rails. Overreaching is one of the most common causes of ladder falls. If you can't reach something safely, climb down and move the ladder. Scaffolds. They can be a lifesaver on a big job, but only if they're set up and used correctly. A poorly assembled scaffold is an accident waiting to happen. First and foremost, always follow the manufacturer's instructions when assembling a scaffold. This ain't the time to wing it. Make sure all the components are present and in good condition. And never ever try to modify a scaffold or use parts from different manufacturers. Once your scaffold is up, inspect it carefully. Make sure it's level, plumb and properly braced, and always use guardrails and toe boards on all open sides and ends. These are your last line of defense if you lose your balance. Don't overload your scaffold. Every scaffold has a weight limit, so make sure you know what it is and stick to it. And be mindful of what you're putting on the scaffold. Don't stack materials precariously and keep the platform clear of trip hazards. Roof work. It's got to be done, but it's also one of the riskiest jobs out there. One slip, and you could be taking a one-way trip to the ground. That's why it's crucial to take every precaution when you're working on a roof. First things first, always wear a fall protection system. This typically involves a harness, lanyard and anchor point. The harness distributes the force of a fall, while the lanyard and anchor point prevent you from hitting the ground. Before you even step foot on a roof, inspect it carefully. Look for damaged or missing shingles, soft spots and other hazards. And always be aware of the weather conditions. Wind, rain and ice can all make a roof treacherous. When you're working on a roof, keep your tools and materials close at hand. A drop tool can be deadly, and constantly having to climb up and down for supplies is just asking for trouble. Consider using a tool belt or a bucket secured to the roof. Working at heights isn't rocket science, but it does require a healthy dose of common sense and a commitment to safety. Here are a few general principles to keep in mind whenever you're off the ground. Before you start any job, take a minute to assess the risks. What could go wrong? How can you prevent it? Make sure you're properly trained for the task at hand. If you're not comfortable doing something, don't do it. When you're working at heights, clear communication is essential. Make sure everyone knows what they're doing and what the safety protocols are. A clean work site is a safe work site. Keep your work area free of clutter and debris and clean up spills immediately. Remember, safety isn't just about following rules, it's about creating a culture of safety. Look out for your co-workers. Speak up if you see something unsafe and never be afraid to ask questions. Working at heights means gearing up properly. This isn't about looking tough, it's about protecting yourself from serious injury. Here's a rundown of the essential gear. Your hard hat is your first line of defense against falling objects. Make sure it fits properly and is in good condition. Protect your eyes from dust, debris and other hazards. Protect your hands from cuts, scrapes and abrasions. Choose gloves appropriate for the task at hand. Protect your feet from falling objects and punctures. Distributes the force of a fall and prevents you from hitting the ground. Connects your harness to an anchor point. A secure point of attachment for your lanyard. Remember, your gear is only as good as its condition. Inspect it regularly and replace anything that's damaged or worn out. Section 7. If the unexpected happens, emergency plans. Accidents happen even when you're being careful. That's why it's crucial to have an emergency plan in place before you start working at heights. Here are a few things to consider. First aid. Make sure there's a well-stocked first aid kit readily available and that someone on site is trained in first aid and CPR. Communication. Have a plan for contacting emergency services quickly and efficiently. Make sure everyone knows the plan and who to contact. Evacuation. Know how to evacuate the work area safely in case of an emergency. This might involve using ladders, scaffolds or other equipment. Rescue plan. If someone does fall, have a plan for rescuing them safely. This might involve using a ladder, scaffold or other specialized equipment. Remember, time is of the essence in an emergency. A well-rehearsed plan can mean the difference between life and death. Section 8. Safety first, second and always. Making it a habit. Working safely at heights isn't about memorizing a bunch of rules, it's about developing a safety mindset. It's about making safety a habit, something you do automatically without even thinking about it. Here are a few tips for making safety a habit. Be prepared. Before you start any job, take the time to assess the risks, gather the necessary gear, and develop an emergency plan. Stay focused. Working at heights requires your full attention. Avoid distractions and never work when you're tired, stressed, or under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Speak up. If you see something unsafe, don't be afraid to speak up. That goes for your co-workers, your supervisor, and even yourself. Never stop learning. The world of safety is constantly evolving. Stay up to date on the latest safety regulations and best practices. Remember, safety is a journey, not a destination. There's always room for improvement. Section 9. Sharing the knowledge, spreading the word. Safety isn't a solo act, it's a team effort. We all have a responsibility to look out for each other and to share our knowledge and experience. If you're a seasoned pro, take the time to mentor someone new to working at heights. Share your hard-won wisdom and help them develop good safety habits. And if you're new to this kind of work, don't be afraid to ask questions. The more you know, the safer you'll be. Let's face it, safety isn't always the most exciting topic, but it's arguably the most important. So let's make a commitment to spreading the word and creating a culture of safety in every workplace. Section 10. Conclusion. A safe job is a job well done. Working at heights is part of the job for many of us. It's how we build our homes, our businesses and our infrastructure. It's honest, important work, but it's also inherently risky and it demands our respect. Remember, every time you climb a ladder, step onto a scaffold or work on a roof, you're taking a risk. But by taking the right precautions, by using common sense and by making safety a priority, we can minimize those risks and come home safe every night. So let's do this. Let's commit to working safely, to looking out for each other, and to making sure everyone gets home in one piece. Because at the end of the day, a safe job is a job well done.